hope you enjoyed this video. He takes care of you. You work at Hawks' headquarters. Your job isn't anything special, like going on missions or even just doing some paperwork. You're the one who cleaned the top floor, Hawk's floor, that held his office and a few cubicles and extra rooms for meetings. This is because you don't have a strong quirk. You could levitate things, which helps when multitasking. Each floor had 2 people who worked to clean up, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Unfortunately, you had the one in the afternoon, which, coincidentally, was the time Hawks was free and chilled in his office or just hanging around. So, once you arrived at work, you had Hawks bothering and teasing you. Why, you may ask? Well, he messed with you just because he's bored, or because he has no one else on the floor to talk to. That was how it was like every day you go to work, clean up the extraordinary mess, and have to deal with Hawks, who occasionally just made messes to annoy you. He acted somewhat like a cat, smacking things off desks onto the floor, making messes. Which, when you caught him acting like that, he had a stiff little laugh. He would just look up at you with wide eyes, slowly ducking behind the desks. It was hilarious. When you came to work yesterday, you started cleaning up around. You placed your phone on one of the desks to pick up some big pieces of trash. Hawks stole it and accidentally broke it. You were so furious with him. You started chasing him around the whole floor, smacking him with a broom. So, when you came to work today, you didn't have your phone. You weren't able to check any emails or updates, but you didn't really care since none of them concerned you. You had started cleaning, picking up big pieces of trash like paper, paper balls, paper airplanes, and even little origami papers, which you took home. Hawks made these things, usually, while waiting for you, but when you looked around, you didn't see him. You must have finally gotten a mission during the evening. Thank God, you said, talking to yourself. You continued to clean, occasionally hearing explosions or loud noises. Most likely from a villain or something, you said, while still talking to yourself. As you finished cleaning the desks, you realized those noises were getting louder. You entered Hawks' office, which had the biggest window, plus a balcony. You stepped outside. You looked around, trying to figure out where the noises were coming from. Then it became silent. They must have defeated the villain, you said quietly. You were still standing on the balcony when you went to the railing and looked out at the sunset. You closed your eyes, feeling wind blowing your hair and cooling you off, when suddenly you heard a roar. You opened your eyes and looked down. Some strange monster was climbing up the building. Oh shit, you said, looking down. It had clearly seen you. You quickly ran back towards the door, but not quick enough. Suddenly the balcony broke off from the main building, feeling your whole world fall down as you tried reaching the door while falling. You screamed as you fell back. You closed your eyes, not wanting to see the city below, where your lifeless body, if you would be able to call it that, would be splattered on the concrete. Then suddenly you felt a pair of warm hands grab your waist. You opened your eyes to see Hawks wrapping his arms around you. "What's up, baby bird?" he said, grinning at you. You would have been furious, but honestly, you were in shock from the attack. He stopped grinning. "What's wrong?" he said, slowly gliding to the top of a building. You tried to speak, but you couldn't. He landed and placed you down. "You?" he said, teasing a little. You looked at him, then suddenly broke down. He looked at you surprised. He had never seen you cry or show any vulnerability. "I thought I was going to die," you whispered slowly, holding yourself while you cried. He walked up to you and pulled you into a hug. "I will never let that happen," he said, hugging you tightly as you cried into his shirt. "I honestly was surprised to see you at the building," he said. You looked at him confused. "Surprised? It's my job to clean up there every day." He looked at you and laughed a little. "You didn't get the email I sent? No one was supposed to work today due to a possible attack," he said, grinning. "Of course not, you broke my phone, remember?" He stopped and looked at you in realization. "Shit, I caused you to get attacked, didn't I?" he said, looking at the sunset. "Yep, you sorta did," smiling. "Well, that doesn't make me feel better," he said. I was just teasing, you told him, grinning now. He looked down at you. You little shit, you said, grinning with a fake angry face. You stifled a giggle. Oh, you find that funny, huh? He said, grinning. He stopped. You knew he was about to do something, but what? Suddenly, he shot out some feathers. Huh? He exclaimed. Suddenly, the feathers started tickling you. What? Hey, stop! You yelled while laughing as the feathers tickled your neck. You tried to cover your neck when Hawks hugged you tighter, making it hard to move your arms. Stop! You screamed, tearing up from laughing. The feathers stopped tickling you as you struggled to breathe from laughing so much. You looked up at Hawks, who was grinning mischievously. You're a bitch, you said to Hawks. Ooh, do you really want to call me that right now? He said, still hugging you. You looked down, then started to give him your best puppy dog eyes. He started busting out laughing from your face, weakening him enough for you to break free. But when you stepped away, you felt a sharp pain on your leg. It was impaled with a shard of glass. Not much blood was coming out, but you still felt scared. Hawks? You said. He slowly stopped laughing and looked at you with a smile. Then he saw it, and his smile immediately disappeared. Holy shit, how did I not notice? He said, running to you. He helped you sit down and called an ambulance. It must have come from the balcony as it broke, he said, as Hawks was talking to the paramedics who just showed up. Don't worry, he'll be fine, he said, putting his hand on your shoulder. You were taken to a nearby hospital. Luckily, it wasn't too bad, but you wouldn't be able to walk for about a week so it could heal. Hawks, surprising you, said he would watch over you. So now here you were, stuck on your couch with Hawks, who was wearing an apron for some reason, cleaning up around and dusting the living room. Why are you wearing that, and why are you cleaning? It's literally spotless all over my house, surprisingly, with you here, he said. Ouch! Was that a compliment or an insult? He said, acting as if he had just gotten shot. It was both, you stated, grinning at him. Throughout the 3 days he had been there, you tried to sneakily stand up, walk around, clean or cook, but to no avail as Hawks would catch you, and then pick you up bridal style, placing you back in your room on your bed, or on the couch again. Hey Hawks, he inquired. I told you to call me Keiko, but what is it? Could you go to the store and get me some snacks? I've been having the worst craving for this one treat, you said, rubbing your stomach. All right, tell me what it is, and I'll go to the market nearby, he said, taking off the apron. Yay, you exclaimed childishly. He laughed. All right, see you in 10 minutes, he said, going out onto the balcony. All right, see ya, he said as he flew off. As he got out of view, you stood up. You still felt pain, but you didn't want the muscles in your leg to be wasted away. You went to the kitchen, wanting to make Hawks his favorite food, chicken. You searched in your freezer and grabbed out the chicken and stuck it in the sink to defrost. What to do now? You thought. Your room was still a mess since you didn't let Hawks stay in there for too long whenever you were stuck in there. I'll clean that up while I wait, you said, talking to yourself. Your leg hurt badly, but you continued to clean your room. When you looked up to check the time, oh shit, he's going to be back any second now, you said as you turned around to return to where Hawks had left you. You tried to jog back to the living room as you heard Hawks call out to you as he was about to land, but you just had such a sharp pain in your leg that you tripped. Ah! You said, trying not to yell, but Hawks heard you. He dropped the bags on the ground and ran to you. You idiot, he said, quite upset. I have to admit, you tricked me there, but it was for a stupid reason. He sounded like your mom scolding you for doing something dumb. Sorry, Mom, you joked. He looked at you, raising an eyebrow. Mom, why not call me Daddy, huh, baby bird? He said seductively in your ear. Shut up, you said, blushing, and tried to kick him. He dodged your little attack. Oh, don't get so upset. You did this to yourself, and now you're stuck on the floor, he said, still slightly scolding you. He picked you up and headed to your room. As soon as he opened the door, he yelled at you. You cleaned your room? You grinned a little. Yeah? What you gonna do about it? You teased. It's like you both switched roles. Before, he had always teased you, and you would scold him, but it took a complete switch. I can cuff you to the bed, he said plainly. What? You yelled. He started laughing as he placed you on the bed. You scooched away from him. What the fuck, Hawks? Don't you know how weird that sounded? He continued to yell at him as he busted out laughing, falling on the floor. I am just kidding, he said in between breaths from laughing so hard. He sat there pouting at his remark as he calmed down. Oh, he said, finally finishing laughing. Your reaction was hilarious. No, it wasn't, you said quickly. Oh, don't be mad at me, baby bird. I just don't want you to hurt yourself, he said, sitting next to you. Well, did you always get me those snacks? I didn't lie about wanting them, he said, whipping your head to look at him. Oh yeah, they're in the living room, but I'm not going to give you any, he teased. You opened your mouth wide. Huh? Why? You whined. Because you didn't listen and stay put, he said. He replied. But I wanted some, he mumbled. I'll give you them at the end of each day if you listen, he said, smiling at you. You widened your eyes and mouth. Ah, you're so rude, he said, looking at his boyish grin. I may be rude, but I love you, he said. You blushed at his remark. Shut up, you stupid chicken, he said, looking away, covering your face with a pillow. Fine, he said. I'm going to make chicken for dinner since you started it, he said, walking out the room. You peeked at him as he left, still blushing. I love you too, he whispered, grinning. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.